What's up everybody? Matt with another YouTube video for you guys. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Sony A7ii in 2020. Let's get into it. So if you're new here, this is a channel based primarily on photography and videography, and we do reviews here and also lenses. So we're going to be hopefully reviewing this one sometime soon. This is a Tamron. And right now we're just going to focus on the base Sony kit of the A7ii with 28 to 70 f3.5 to 5.6. Let's jump into the specs of this guy really quick. Just give you guys a brief overview of the specs of this camera in case you're looking to purchase it and wondering what it can do. So this is a 24 megapixel full frame sensor, and it shoots full HD in up to 60 frames a second. So if you're into doing a little bit of slow motion, about half speed, then you can definitely pick this camera up and do that with it. Also, the picture quality, obviously you get that full frame sensor, so you're going to have a nice depth of field from that full frame goodness. Obviously with that 3.5 to 5.6 aperture, the background, the bokeh as they call it, in the photos isn't going to be as great as, let's say, a prime lens or something like this, but you can definitely still accomplish that with just the kit. That 3.5 at the minimum focal length of 28 definitely is apparent, and you do get a nice bit of bokeh, although not as much as stopping down to say 2.8 or even more so with like a 1.4. The video quality on this camera is pretty good. It shoots full HD like I said. You can shoot in log format with the camera too. The only downside is this is from Sony's older color science, which means that the camera doesn't produce as nice of tones as, let's say, the A7R4, or for that matter, this Canon that this video is shooting on right now. So in terms of this camera that's shooting right now, you haven't seen it before, and that's because it's being lent to me, and I'm getting to test it out for a little bit. So we're going to see how this looks and see what color science maybe I prefer. Alright, so let's talk some more about this camera. So we're going to touch on ergonomics really quick, just briefly. The camera is small and light, which are some of my favorite things about this camera. Definitely really nimble, fits into almost anywhere you could pretty much want it, which is a big plus about this camera. Some people do mention that your pinky does slide off the bottom, and they'd be right, but I don't really find that to be an issue since it's so lightweight. But if you do have bigger hands, my hands are, I'd say, about medium sized, then you might have some issues if you've got some bigger hands with it kind of being an uncomfortable grip. But I think that since the camera is so light, having that pinky under it really isn't an issue, and it kind of gives you a nice little support to hold it on with the pinky under it. In terms of the button layout, the camera is pretty great. The only thing that I think that it's missing is a joystick right where your thumb would be, and that would just help you move around those focusing points a little bit quicker, since as of right now you have to use the D-pad to navigate across the screen. The camera does have a flip LCD on the back, although it is not a very angle like this Canon that is getting shot on right now. So that means that you can't flip it out to the side and around towards you. It only tilts down and it tilts up. So this is really great if you're looking to shoot low angle pictures or shoot some lower angle video, but otherwise it's kind of not really that great, and it doesn't always do exactly what you need it to do, especially in a solo video setup like this one. The build quality of this camera is definitely up there. Full metal construction, and like I said, it is light, but it's not so light that it feels cheap. So it has a nice weight to it that makes it feel good in the hand, and also just enough so that you can steady up those shots. Speaking of steadying up those shots, both the kit lens and the camera have image stabilization. So the kit lens has what Sony calls as their optical steady shot, and also the camera has in-body image stabilization. And I think it has 5 stops of that, which means that when you're shooting at really long focal lengths, or if you're shooting video, your footage is going to be much more stable than, say, this Canon, which I don't believe has image stabilization, only the lenses. So here you get the benefit of the lens having it and also the camera having it to give you the smoothest possible footage out there. So I brought up the screen before in that it's not a vari-angle screen, but it does flip up and down. Another thing is this is not a touchscreen camera, so the screen has no touch functionality whatsoever, which for being a camera from 2014, it's okay. I'd say that since this camera is just at 6 years old, the functionality of this camera is unbeatable for the price that you're gonna get. The camera, as far as I'm aware, right now retails on Adorama for $1,000, or it's like $998, and that's a pretty good deal for a whole kit and full frame for that fact. You can't even buy some of Sony's APS-C cameras for that much money. So yes, the trade-off is that you have an older camera, but at the same time, you get a lot of the functionality of some really great features. The EVF on this camera, which is the electronic viewfinder, is definitely up there in quality, especially for 2014. This camera is mirrorless, so that means as you change your settings, it changes what the final outcome will be in that EVF. So it helps you to know what you're getting before you even shoot it, honestly. So the EVF feature on this camera is really great. It also works in the screen mode, but I'd suggest if you're doing a lot of photography, you use that EVF, as the picture quality on it is significantly better than just the screen. Something that I hear a lot of people complain about on the Sonys is the menu system, and honestly, I don't really believe that to be an issue. It's completely fine, and it's probably from people really complaining because they're coming from a different camera system. So it's a little harder to acclimate to a system when you've never used it before. So once you get the learning curve down of a menu system, of course it's going to become second nature to you, and you're going to know where everything is. But if you're switching from, let's say, Canon to Sony, which is a problem for me going from Sony to Canon, is I don't understand Canon's menu system. So it's really a, use it and you'll understand it kind of issue. So I'm not going to complain about their menu system because to me, the Sony menu system is completely fine. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about the quality of the photos. So if you head over to my Instagram page, you will see some of the photos that come out of this camera. Not all of them were taken with this 28-70 lens. A lot of them are taken with this Tamron right here. But I would say that you can understand the quality of the camera pretty well just based on the pictures that it takes as opposed to the lens used. So the difference between this and the Tamron is pretty much strictly a little bit of sharpness in terms of the image and also how much bokeh is going to be in those backgrounds. So I'd say that if you go and check out my Instagram, it's at MattCousinsVisual, and you can see some of the pictures that I've taken with this camera, and it'll give you a really good understanding of the quality of the image that you can take. Of course, I am still a beginner at this photography thing, so maybe the images are not going to be on par with some amazing photographers out there, but I'd say that you can understand how sharp the images are and also understand how well the camera takes the photos. So I'd appreciate it if you gave me a follow over there on my Instagram page, because it'd really help out to grow that too, along with this YouTube channel. Last but not least, I'm going to give you guys my final verdict on the Sony A7 II. I would say that in 2020, this is a great camera for the money. Like I said, the camera is $998 with the kit lens, which to enter the full frame market for $998 is next to impossible with any other camera besides this one pretty much. The Canon EOS RP I think retails for $1,000 on just the body, and then the minimum RF lens is you're already talking $600 extra for that 24 to 240 lens. If you want to upgrade from that to something that's a constant aperture, now you're looking at $800 for that 24 to 105 RF4 f-stop lens. So I would say that if you're looking to get into cameras and you're just a beginner and you want full frame, the A7ii is something that you can't go wrong with, especially even in 2020. The quality of the pictures, the autofocus speed, and also the just video quality of this camera are pretty much unparalleled in terms of the age of this camera. And let me know if you guys decide to purchase this camera, and tell me what you guys think if you already own it. So that's all I've got for this video, you guys. If you really enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like, and if you have any questions about the camera, drop a comment down below. I will definitely answer all of your questions. And last but not least, if you really did enjoy this video and you want to see more reviews like it, especially on this Tamron right here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel, and I'd appreciate it a ton. That's all, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.